Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you love deep emotional stories that go beyond what the world shows you, stories that touch something real, something quiet, something human, then you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into a story that many people think they understand, but very few truly do, the connection between Zhang Ruonan Bai Jingting, and why, out of everything in her life, he became the one person who could calm her mind. From the outside, Zhang Ruonan looked like she had everything. Fame, beauty, recognition, and a presence so calm that people naturally assumed her life must be peaceful. She carried herself with a softness that made her stand out without trying, the kind of quiet elegance that makes people feel at ease just watching her. Every appearance felt effortless, every smile controlled but warm, every interaction polished. To the world, she was composed, graceful, and seemingly untouched by the chaos that often comes with fame. But the truth is, sometimes the calmest people are the ones fighting the loudest battles inside. Because behind the cameras, behind the lights, behind the perfectly curated image, there was something else entirely. A mind that didn't rest. Even when everything around her was quiet, there was always noise within. Thoughts that kept running without pause, expectations that never loosened their grip, pressure that followed her everywhere, even into moments that were supposed to feel peaceful. The constant need to be enough, to meet every standard, to never fall short in a world that is always watching, always judging, always expecting more. And if you've ever felt that before, then you already understand how exhausting that can be. The strange thing about that kind of struggle is that it's invisible. People don't see it. They see the smile, the calmness, the beauty, and they assume everything is fine. They don't see the quiet moments when the mind refuses to slow down, when even rest doesn't feel like rest. They don't see the weight of always having to hold yourself together. So she did what most people do in that situation. She kept going. She showed up. She performed. She stayed composed. She carried the image everyone expected of her, even when it didn't match how she felt inside. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months, and everything continued the same way. Work schedules, filming, public appearances, interviews, everything looked normal. But internally, nothing really changed. The noise stayed. The pressure remained. The silence was never truly quiet. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a room full of people, surrounded by voices, laughter, conversations, and still felt completely alone? Not because no one was there, but because no one really saw what was happening inside you. If you have, then you already understand the kind of space she was living in. And then, without any dramatic entrance, without any grand moment that people could point to and say this is where everything changed, something shifted. Someone entered her space, not as a solution, not as a distraction, not as someone trying to stand out, but simply as someone who existed differently. That person was Bai Jingting. What made his presence different was not something loud or obvious. He didn't try to impress her. He didn't force conversations. He didn't carry the energy of someone trying to be noticed. He wasn't performing. He was simply calm, grounded, and present in a way that felt real. At first, it was nothing. Just another colleague, another person in the same environment, another interaction in a long list of interactions that come with that kind of work. But then, something subtle started to happen. The conversations didn't feel forced. The silence didn't feel uncomfortable. The moments between them didn't require effort. And that's where the difference began. Because most of the time, people are always trying. Trying to say the right thing, trying to create the right impression, trying to fill every silence so it doesn't feel awkward. But with the right person, something changes. You don't feel the need to try so hard. You don't feel the pressure to perform. You don't feel like you have to fill every space with words. And slowly, almost without realizing it, she began to feel something she hadn't felt in a long time. Calm. Not the kind of calm you show on the outside, but the kind that happens inside. The kind where your thoughts slow down. The kind where your chest feels lighter. The kind where you don't feel like you're carrying everything alone anymore. And here's the part that makes this story real. It didn't happen all at once. There was no sudden transformation, no dramatic turning point. It was built in small, quiet moments. A conversation that lasted a little longer than expected. A shared laugh that felt genuine. A moment of silence that didn't feel heavy. And those moments started to add up. Now think about this. Have you ever met someone who didn't try to fix you, didn't try to change you, didn't even try that hard, but somehow, just by being around them, everything inside you felt more settled? If you have, then you already understand what was happening here. People around them didn't notice anything dramatic. There were no headlines, no big scenes, no public confessions. But there were signs, subtle ones. The way she seemed more relaxed. The way her energy felt lighter. The way she didn't look like she was carrying as much weight as before. And around him, there was no tension. No pressure. No need to prove anything. Just ease. There was one moment that people who were paying close attention could never forget. It wasn't something loud or dramatic. It didn't look like a turning point from the outside. But it said everything. She was quiet, lost in her thoughts, the kind of silence that feels heavy, not peaceful. And he noticed. Not in a way that drew attention, not in a way that made it a moment for others to see, but in a quiet, present way. He didn't interrupt. He didn't push. He didn't try to fix anything. He just stayed present. And in that presence, something shifted. Her expression softened. Her body relaxed. The tension that had been sitting quietly beneath the surface eased, even if just for a moment. And that moment mattered more than anything loud or obvious ever could. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing someone can do for you is not to solve your problems, not to give you answers, but simply to make you feel like you're not alone in them. And that's what made this connection different. Now, of course, people started asking questions. They wanted to define it. They wanted to label it. They wanted to understand it in a way that fit into something familiar. Are they together? Is it love? Is it just friendship? But maybe those questions miss the point entirely. Because not everything meaningful needs a label. Sometimes, a connection is not about romance. It's not about titles or definitions. It's not about what the world can see or understand. Sometimes, it's simply about finding someone who brings a kind of peace into your life that you didn't even realize you were missing. And in a world that is constantly moving, constantly demanding, constantly loud, that kind of peace is rare. Very rare. So maybe this story was never about what people thought it was. Maybe it was never about creating something for the world to see. Maybe it was always about something quieter, something deeper, something that exists without needing to be explained. Because at the end of the day, what really matters is not how something looks from the outside, but what it feels like on the inside. And if there's one thing this story reminds us, it's this: sometimes, the most important person in your life is not the one who changes everything, but the one who makes everything feel calm. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe in this kind of connection? Have you ever met someone who brought you this kind of peace without even trying? Or do you think moments like this are temporary and don't really last? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this is one of those conversations where everyone sees it differently. And if this story made you feel something, even just a little, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more deep, emotional stories like this. Because sometimes, the quietest stories are the ones that stay with you the longest.